Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come one, come all, and listen to a tale so astonishing as to shake the very ground you stand on. A tale to end all tales. A story with such power and intensity that it could barely be believed. All right, where are you guys?
Are you talking to us?
Why, yes. Yes, I am.
Well, why didn't you say so?
Who did you think I was talking to, myself?
You do that sometimes. I've heard you talk to yourself plenty of times. And you talk in your sleep. I heard that too. All I can hear when Hob is asleep is snoring. Oh, yeah.
I do not snore.
Right.
Oh, we are way off the subject. Now, I wanted to tell you a story. An incredible tale of courage, perseverance, and friendship. So, let's get started. Shush! Now, just because we are hobgoblins does not mean we can get away with being rude.
It doesn't?
No. Now just sit quietly and listen to the tale I have to tell.
You have to tell it, and we have to listen.
Enough. Now, it goes like this. Once upon a sage.
What?
Oh, that's not right. Once upon a parsley? No, that's not it either. Once upon a rosemary.
This makes no sense.
Oh, now I've got it. Once upon a time. What? What's wrong with that?
Parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme.
What? I was just trying to spice things up a bit. Moving on, I wanted to tell you the story of the Snow Queen. The queen is icy through and through. She is often seen in snowstorms, of flurries of snow bees, or, if the snow is especially fluffy, a flurry of fluffy snow chickens. Oh, and of course there is her Yeti, you know, the abominable snowman. Yes, snow chickens. I once saw a snow chicken sitting on a fence post. I thought I might catch it. So I sneaked up to grab it, but before I could, it disappeared into a great puff of snow. I guess you could say he flew the coop. Now, my story may be called The Snow Queen, but she is not the star of our story. Our story really begins, as many incredible tales do, in the palace of the prince and the princess. Oh, we need a palace, guys. A palace fit for a royal court. For the heroine of our story. Gerda is a young girl sitting next to the prince and the princess. She has come to the palace in search for her best friend, Kay. But, as you will see, he is nowhere to be found.
Lords and ladies, friends and honored guests, we are here to help and guide Gerda in her quest to find Kay. If any of you know of his whereabouts, please speak. He's about so tall, has hair, and goes by the name of Kay. We thought he might be here. You thought he might actually be the prince. Well, I can assure you that I'm not Kay. The robbers can find him. I mean, Robbie and I can find him. Is he what? Is he lost in the woods? Good at robbing people in the woods.
don't do that. The mirror is part of the problem. It shows only lies and distorted pictures.
Gerda, look into the mirror. What do you see? I see Kay tending his roses. Wait, it's changing. Now what do you see? Dry ground and darkness and dead plants, and I can't look anymore. It steals my hope.
Well, don't say I didn't try to help.
I don't think we need that kind of help. Well put, Princess. You are very wise. We'll find another way to help Gerda.
Oh, wait! What am I doing? I don't want to get ahead of myself. This is all very interesting, but it happens much, much later in our story. Let's start at the very beginning, back before Kay was lost. Our story really begins in a very small town in Finland, in the small front yard of Grandma's house. This is the home of Kay and Gerda back before anything went wrong. Ah, here comes Kay's grandma now. Let's set the scene, guys.
Right.
Okay, we need a table right there, and some flowers over there, and then a couple of chairs right here. Okay, and then we... What are you doing?
I'm a table.
Go be flowers.
What do we do?
We do the picket fence, of course. Go right there. Now, if you squint your eyes and look right over there, you'll see some important characters to our story. See there? That is Kay and his grandmother. Kay's grandmother would often tell Kay and his best friend Gerda scary stories of the Snow Queen and her castle of ice. Gerda's grandmother would make sure that there was plenty of hot cocoa for the story times. Look!
Now, children, you must remember not to challenge the Snow Queen if you see her. Many a youngster has gone missing and never been seen again.
I don't believe in an icy snow queen that peers in our windows and paints on the glass. Why not, Kay? Someone makes those amazing frost crystal paints of glass. Shoot, get that goose out of here. Hot cocoa anyway? What kind of treatment is this? I'm a very important goose.
You be careful what you believe, my boy. For the Snow Queen loves to toy around with regular folks like us. Do not tempt fate.
I'm not. I just don't think it has to do with us.
It has to do with us. You should listen to your grandma, Kay. Listen to your grandma, Kay.
Oh, let her come. I'll set her on the stove and watch her melt. I think I've listened enough. Come on, Gerda. Let's go play in the garden.
Don't forget your hot cocoa. Forget your cocoa.
So you see, Kay didn't believe everything he was hearing. Soon, he would have to believe his own eyes.
What a wonderful day.
Couldn't be better. We have the whole day to share.
The roses are doing well.
That's because he's taking such good care of them.
Here is where the plot thickens. All of a sudden, the air turns cold, and a flurry of snow threatens to freeze the roses in front of their eyes.
Fly through the country on high.
Ice and snow covered the garden. But at that moment, the Snow Queen broke the mirror of sad reflection and sent fragments of the mirror flying into the air and at the family. This is a terrible development. The mirror of sad reflection has horrible qualities. It has the ability to show everything beautiful and good in the world reflected in it as bad and ugly. The most beautiful landscape would appear as boiled spinach.
Ew!
Kay's grandma was safe, and Gerda and her grandmother were safe. But Kay was caught trying to save their precious roses. A shard of that malicious mirror touched his eye so that he could no longer see the good in the world, only cold and darkness. Another pierced his heart so that he could no longer feel emotions like friendship, only cold and darkness.
Come, Kay. You are my creature now. Say goodbye to all that you know.
After Kay and the Snow Queen left, the sun again warmed the air.
Kay, where are you?
It's the Snow Queen. She must have taken him.
Or he could have just left. He probably just got lost in the snow. He'll find his way home soon. I must find him. He must be scared and frightened. Here's some hot cocoa, honey. Don't be late for dinner.
Little did Gerda's grandmother know, she would miss many, many dinners on her quest to find Kay. She could not imagine the road that she should take, but bravely strode out in search for her friend.
How will I find Kay? I know. I can start by questioning creatures I meet.
The first arrival was a snow leopard, not necessarily known for its good intentions.
Excuse me, I'm looking for a boy named Kay about this tall. Have you seen him? I'm sure I have not. Thank you for your help. I'm sure I have not helped, but I do have some advice. Give up your friend. He's beyond help. I cannot, I will not.
Gerda stayed strong. Kay was counting on her. She asked many more animals along the way. She asked a wascally wabbit.
Sure, I saw you at that way, Doc.
She stumbled across a lost reindeer.
I haven't seen anyone like that.
She asked some grumpy bears.
Why do you bother us? Besides, we care very little about lost boys.
She asked the sly foxes.
Perhaps we can help you, but what's in it for us?
She asked the brusque buffalo.
Sorry, I have a full day.
She asked the wise old owl.
Ooh, the safest thing for you to do, young lady, is to go home and wait for him there.
She wouldn't hear any of that. Kay was counting on her. Finally, she asked a silly goose.
Well, I declare that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
None of these animals were any help. Even if they had seen Kay, they wouldn't say.
I can't give up. I must keep trying.
And so she did. She soon came to a river. Hey guys. Hey guys, a river?
Maybe if I go further up the river on this boat.
A boat?
I will have more luck.
She feared that Kay might have fallen in the river, so she asked the river.
River, do you have Kay? No. River, where are you taking me?
Away she was swept by the rushing water, until finally Gerda's boat washed up on the bank of the river, where she jumped
Get off
off.
me.
of a remarkable woman who seemed to know more than she was saying.
I'm looking for a friend. Kay? Yes. Do you know him? No, but I think it's best to figure out him and your journey. Stay in my garden. We have so many different flowers to see and smell here. Here, try this one. Come to my garden for a while. You'll love my garden for its style. Here we have some daffodils, full of rich perfume. Water each one carefully, see it grow and bloom. Come to my garden for a while. You'll love my garden for its style. Here we have forget-me-nots, colored with perfume. Don't do it! That's a wonderful smell. What kind of flower is it? Well, you've heard of forget-me-nots, haven't you? Well, this is the opposite. It's called forget-me for sure. Why am I here? I told you not to smell those flowers. To help me weed my garden. Oh, okay.
The gardener woman was not her friend. She would do anything to make Gerda forget about Kay and stay in the garden with her forever. But one thing saved Gerda. There was one sort of flower that was missing.
Where are they? I can't find them. Ah, what's up, Doc? What can't you find? That flower, the red one. I can almost remember. Roses! There aren't any roses.
The absence of the roses that Kay and Gerda cared so much for was enough to bring back all the memories she had forgotten and put her back on the right path.
You are not my friend. Goodbye. There's way up, Doc. Thank you.
Again, Gerda set out, determined. She was so determined that I doubt anything could get in her way, no matter how hard. Now, you might be wondering, where's Kay?
Where's Kay?
Oh, well, I am glad you asked, because as we speak, he is being whisked away to the Snow Queen's castle.
Faster, my fellow crew. We must reach my castle before day is out.
Going as fast as I can, my queen.
Well, it's not fast enough.
Do you guys think we could rest for a while?
No, there is a snowstorm coming and I forgot my goggles. Fly, Yeti, fly.
You do know that I can't fly, right?
Much, Yeti, much.
Yes, my queen.
And the snow did come. The snow came as a big winter storm that covered all the land. But why talk about it? Here it comes.
Come and play in winter weather to your heart's content. They will help you make an angel 'cause they're heaven sent. We are always floating down or coming from above. We are here to say hello and shower you with love. Shower you. We are here to say hello and shower you with love. Shower you with, shower you with, shower you with love. Yay!
All right, let's make some snow chicken snowballs. Luckily, there was no snow where Gerda found herself. She toiled on in her search and soon came across a wild crow pecking at a stump.
Ow! 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 Quit moving! Excuse me. I'm looking for a boy about this tall. Have you seen him? Well, let me think. I seem to be remembering someone about this tall. That could be him. Where'd you see him? At the palace. I stopped by to go see by night. And there was a boy walking. Where is this palace? Not too far. Can we go now? Of course.
Gerda was really hoping that this boy might be Kay, but as it turned out, well, you'll see for yourself.
Let me go check with my wife and see if all is clear. Okay.
Well, where's the palace, fellas? Well, oh, here we go. Thank you. Here we go. Thank you. The crow's wife did know everyone in the palace quite well, but there was some confusion when she was asked about Kay.
Didn't you say there was a boy stopping by to see the princess? Yes, he came to visit the princess speak and ended up marrying her and becoming the prince of the land. He married the princess? Yes, he's very nice. Why would he marry the princess? Could you take me to him? Sure, as soon as we can start. But look at who why can't I call like a crow? Okay, that must be easy.
And so it was that Gerda and the crows sneaked into the palace, where they surprised the princess, who was sleeping.
Sorry, your princess. You know you should really be sleeping on your throne. Who is it? Oh, this call with you along. I brought your name on the prince. Let me have one. Your Majesty, send for the prince. I'll find him. So, are you lost? No, I'm looking for a friend, and he may be here. I wonder, does he have long hair and blue skin? No. Then it might be him. What's on the record? This girl says you know her. I've never seen her before. You're not Kay. I must look for him somewhere else. I'm sorry we couldn't help you. Let's call the kingdom together to ask you about your friend. Come to the hall, come one and all, the tried and true, welcome to you. Come from afar, now here you are. We gather here, give us a cheer. Give us a cheer, woo!
They are holding a gala for the heroine of our story. Gerda is a young girl sitting next to the prince and the princess. She has come to the palace in search for her best friend Kay, but as you will see, he is nowhere to be found.
Lords and ladies, friends and honored guests, we are here to help and guide Gerda in her quest to find Kay. If any of you know of his whereabouts, please speak.
I'm getting the strangest feeling of deja vu. Oh, let's fast forward through this part. Ready, guys?
Ready!
They're holding a gala for the heroine of our story. Gerda is a young girl sitting next to the prince and the princess. She has come to the palace in search for her best friend Kay, but as you will see, he is nowhere to be found.
Lords and ladies, friends and honored guests, we are here to help and guide Gerda in her quest to find Kay. If any of you know of his whereabouts, please speak. He's about so tall, has hair, and goes by the name of Kay. We thought you might be here. You thought you might actually be the prince. Well, I can assure you that I'm not Kay. The robbers can find him. Robbie and I can find him. Is he what? Is he lost in the woods? Good at robbing people in the woods. She means helping people in the woods. We really don't know where he might be. I bet we can find him. You can count on us. We do it all the time. We tie people up and take them back to their home. We do?
Faster!
Don't ask me. I don't care who it is. You don't, neither do I. I haven't felt him. I haven't seen him. Nothing gets past us. We're so crafty. He must not go out at night. Who? Why you know who? Oh, very funny. Good one, Prince Squirrel. You, Buffalo. I don't remember stepping on him. Well, thank goodness. Fade the reindeer. You get
Master!
Unseen. Gerda.
Sort of pictures.
Roses.
And they brought up the mirror and it was like, oh no, dry ground, dig rest and dirt, and then we go forward, and then okay, whew, there we go. Now, I think we're back on new information.
Well, that was strange. Well, Gerda, at least rest for the night. You may go on tomorrow.
So, Gerda rested in the palace, but in the morning went about preparing to go on into the woods to find Kay. The prince and the princess gave Gerda a fond farewell, as well as travel tips and a fair amount of money for her travel expenses along the way.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. I will never forget you. What about us? Don't forget us too. Of course not.
Gerda invited her crow friends to come along, and they said it would be their pleasure. One thing about crows, though, when the going gets tough, they get going.
This is a lovely wood. Yes, and a lovely wood.
Oh, we need a wood here, lads. That's better.
Yes, what a lovely wood.
Lovelier.
Hold it right there, little missy. Who's this? Who, indeed? Show yourself. It is that old robber woman. Who. And the little robber girl. Wait, don't leave me now.
See? What did I tell you about crows?
Please don't hurt me, old rubber woman and little rubber girl. Robber woman, robber girl. Not rubber? Robber. You see up on the way. And keep it like the famous bandit, Robber Hood.
I think you mean Robin Hood.
The married band. Rubber band? Stop it with the rubber band thing! And get this straight. We're robbers! Okay, I think I got it now. I did on a second one.
Well, as you can see, these thieves were a burly bunch of characters, starting with their leader, the old robber woman, all the way down to the little robber girl.
What have we here, Missy?
The old robber woman was referring to the money that the prince and the princess had given Gerda to help her along her way.
We can help you. We can lighten you up by leaving you for money. Come on, let's go count out our shares in the robber's cave. Let's bring the girl along for a look. Watch out for the buffalo! You have any money I can rob? Just a nickel. I'll take it. Buffalo and I took the right guy. To the cave! The cave!
Oh, the cave, guys! We have to make a cave! There we go. Sorry, I need to pay more attention.
No one tells us to be hid in our robber's roost. So you beware, robbers on the loose. Stop and stare, give me all your loot.
So
You beware, robbers on the loose. Stop Lieutenant, I get half.
Half of what?
Half of what you get.
And what did I get?
I just saw at least 10 robbers give you 1 coin apiece. That means you were at least given 10, and half of 10 is 5, so you owe me 5.
I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you.
I think someone just outfoxed the fox.
Did someone say fox?
I feel sorry for Gerda.
What about Gerda?
She just got robbed.
You should have asked me to dig. You should have asked me to dig a foxhole to hide it. I could have tricked them to get it back. I don't care about the money. I just want to find my friend. I know a way. Just think like a fox.
And so it was that Gerda planned her escape from the robber's roost. She watched and planned so that one night she tiptoed out of the cave and into the woods. And do you know who showed up on the trail? That's right, the little robber girl. And she was standing directly in her path.
You can't stop me. I'm not going to try. Why not? Because I'm nice, but I have a question for you though. What's the question? Is this cave all worth it? What do you mean? Is Kay worth all the trouble you're going through to find him? Yes, and I know him to be a good friend. He would do the same for me. In that case, I will help you. What do you need? I don't know the way. I don't know where to find him either, but a maid knows him that can help. There's a Finnish woman that does many things. She can help you find Kay. You'll need a guide. I'll send Bay with you. Ben is away and isn't back company for a reindeer. Thank you. Pleased to meet you. I'm Bay. Bay the reindeer.
And so it was that Gerda received help in the strangest ways to continue her quest. As they left the woods, the little robber girl not only gave Gerda directions and a guide to find the Finnish woman, but she also gave her something even more valuable: hope. Hope that she may someday soon see Kay again.
Hurry, Bay. I'm worried for Kay. Away we go!
Hey, that was a circle. I don't think you're gonna get anywhere like that.
You're right. This way.
Finally, Gerda and Bay set out, determined to find Kay. But it was about to get a lot harder because you know who was in the way?
Mush, mush, you lazy Yeti.
If you want to go faster, you should think about getting out and pushing yourself!
Don't talk back to me. I'm the great Snow Queen, and you are just a lowly abdominal snowman.
Abominable snowman! Yes, my queen. I'm sorry, my queen.
That's better. Are we there, Yeti?
Oh, that was awful.
What?
I mean awfully clever, my queen.
What do you say, Kay? Is it a good day for a blizzard?
Yes, my queen. We can never have too much snow, my queen.
Bring on the snow chickens. I will stir up a storm that no one can find their way through, not even a reindeer.
Haven't you pestered that poor little girl enough?
What little girl?
Oh, nobody. I'm going to pester a reindeer.
Why do I keep on thinking about a lost friend? Must just be the cold freezing my thinking.
Yes, yes. Isn't that right, Yeti?
If you say so, my queen.
Here they come. Time for a blizzard. Snow chickens, look here. The storm is getting really bad. It must be the Snow Queen.
Look, do you see her? And who's that riding with her?
A Yeti!
No, the other one.
A young boy. Could that be your friend?
Yes, I think it is.
This is how Gerda and Bay knew that Kay was alive. Now they knew they had to find the Snow Queen's castle if they were to find Kay.
How much further is it?
Too far, I fear.
You might as well give up.
It's no use trying anymore.
I will not give up, no matter what you say.
Those bears may be right. We might freeze before we get there.
Not if I can help. Not if I help it. I have some nice warm tea for you.
Thank you.
What about me?
I have some nice warm grass for you to chew on back at my house.
And so it was, the nice Lappish woman allowed them to come into her house to get out of the cold. We need a house here, guys. They soon found themselves warming up by the fire. The fire! Maybe a bigger fire?
Now, warm up and tell me all about your story. Are you and your ranger just passing through?
Well, I was taking her to see the Snow Queen's castle. You wouldn't know where to find it, would you?
Oh no, I wouldn't want to see you try to get there either. Nasty cold place, much worse than here.
The Snow Queen kidnapped her friend.
And I won't give up, even if I have to travel to the end of the earth to find it.
Well, you certainly sound determined. I'm afraid I won't be much help. I have no idea where to find the Snow Queen's castle.
We were going to ask the Finnish woman where to find the castle, but
Oh, I know where to find her. Point your nose straight north and walk till the sun sets.
Thank you. We'd better get going, babe.
already I was just starting to feel my hooves again.
Yes, right now. I'm worried it's too late.
So, Gerda and Bay strode out into the snow, one foot in front of the other, until finally the sun began to set.
What brings you to these parts? We are looking for the Finnish woman's house. You wouldn't know where to find it, would you? At the next stoplight, take one right, two lefts, and one more right. Stoplight? I'm not kidding. You're standing right in front of her house now.
Standing right in front of them was another house. Another house. There. Another house. And out from from the door came the powerful Finnish woman.
No, I'm afraid not.
Why not?
Because it's awful out there.
But they came all this way for you.
So?
So, you mean to send them away?
You would think that if someone might help, they might at least wait.
Please help us.
You would think that if someone might help, they might at least knock on the door.
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Hey, the reindeer, and they're about girl?
Sorry, don't know any reindeer.
What?
Only kidding. Come in, come in.
The two opened the screechy door and sat down beside the Finnish woman. They were hoping to ask her about Kay's whereabouts, and as it turned out, she knew everything about Kay, the mirror, the Snow Queen, and their journey thus far.
We came to ask. So we came.
I know. And I meant, of course.
We came to ask.
For help. And I would be happy to advise you, but I must ask, why? Why you are on this journey? You have no assurance of being successful. Where does the courage come from? What keeps you striving towards your goal? Do you know? I think it's because I must. Every obstacle up to this point has been overcome, and I can overcome the next and the next if I just have the strength. Well, I can give you the strength of 10 Yetis, but that would not ease the task or path you have set yourself on. For you have all the strength and determination you need. I do? Yes. Thank you. Rest now. Tomorrow you will take on Snow Queen and Decay.
Gerda was so excited she could barely contain it. Meanwhile, in the Snow Queen's castle, her frostiness was practicing a new freezing touch. But it was not a good day to be in the Snow Queen's court.
Zap, you didn't think I saw you, did you? Zap, this is fun.
As the animals made their way into the palace, the Snow Queen waited for her plan to fall through to freeze all of the animals in her court.
Stampede. Zap, so much for your stampede. I gotta make a run for it. Zap, you didn't think I saw you, did you?
Ugly, dirty animals. They deserve to be frozen.
Who are you kidding?
Quick, I can't hold these bears for long.
Who are you kidding?
I think we have you. Okay, hold on to the cake. Zap, zap. I see you over there hiding behind the tree. I'm out of here. I'm with you. Wait for me. Zap, zappy, ding. Got him with a ricochet. You can never catch me. See how fast. See how I can pounce and bound out of your grasp? Oh, hello, Yeti. I forgot to dodge you, didn't I?
Yes, I guess you could say that. What do you want me to do with this one, my queen?
Bring the leopard to me. No, big.
Please don't be to raise me, Your Majesty.
I will. Zap.
What are you doing? Stop at once.
Or what? You have no powers against me.
That is where the Snow Queen was wrong. Gerda was so determined, I don't think anything could stop her. The Yeti tried distracting her.
You're too small to stop a Yeti.
And that might be true if they were going to arm wrestle.
What's that?
Huh?
But Gerda proved to be too fast for the snowman.
You're going to be soon. You're going to be an ice
She was too slow to freeze Gerda, but she did a great job on the snowman. It was at this point the Snow Queen called upon her secret weapon, the terrible snow chickens. They, the reindeer, distracted the fluffy invaders until finally they floated down into a harmless blanket of snowflakes. Kay was still being held in the trance of the mirror and could not even recognize Gerda.
Kay, it's me, Gerda. I found you at last.
I don't know. You get away from me.
With that, Gerda's heart began to break. It was breaking, but it was also strong. She had committed herself to finding Kay, but now that she had, he didn't even recognize her. Every part of her wanted to wrestle Kay from the grasp of that mirror. But how? But it was her eyes that welled up with the powerful memory of friendship. She began to cry. She walked up to Kay with a full heart and took his hand.
Kay, remember, you must try.
As Gerda's tears began to fall, the icy castle started to melt. First, the animals that the Snow Queen had frozen started melting, then the castle itself. People came to see and wonder who or what could have caused the Snow Queen's stronghold to crumble.
What magic is this? It must be great power indeed.
It is the power of the human heart that melts the cold and shadows.
Finally, as all stood in awe, the mirror that had so twisted Kay's mind was washed away. And at last, he awoke, as if from a dream.
Gerda, why so sad, my friend?
These are tears of joy. I'm so happy to see you again.
I'm afraid you've missed quite a bit, my friend Kay.
That's okay. We can catch up.
Well, there you have it. Gerda accomplished her quest. Kay remembered who he was, and finally, the kingdom was free of snow and ice. At least for a little while. So, my hobgoblin friends, you have helped tell my story, and I was just wondering what you may have learned from it.
Difficulties can make us stronger.
To have true friends, you must be a true friend.
Believe in yourself. Follow your heart. Save the poor.
Get hard on it? Get hard? Really pondering on it. I'll let you think on it.
Help my company suspect it. Have confidence that if you try, you can. Never give up, never surrender.
Each of us is stronger than we think.
Just because the road is blocked doesn't mean the road is blocked, if you know what I mean. This is some sort of positive thinking. I can't stand it.
My dear Snow Queen, did you learn nothing from our story? You can't give up. You must keep trying.
Yes, I see your point is well and good. But what about my poor castle? It melted. I think I have a solution. It's time for another winter storm.
Well, yes, maybe you are right. But you know, that's just what the Snow Queen is, isn't she? She's not good or bad. She's neither good or bad, but simply a force of nature. And so, I say, let it snow.
Colored eyes, see her once but then check twice. Could be the queen of snow and ice in the snow. Let it snow, let it snow.
back to your old tricks, I guess. But that is no way to end our story. I don't know about you all, but I have had a ball of a time, and I think it's time to celebrate it.
Come to the ball.